Hello, good evening. Welcome to another round of PCM ITA Cup, and tonight we have Classics Round 2, also known as Semifinals. We have in Semifinal A, Basso AS Gaming, Francesco Grassi, El Colombiano, Il Grandissimo Fravo, and EDK Deus from Portugal. And in Semifinal B, Campione Regionale from Italy, Trevelato, Pierre, Yevem Freedom, Ghosty, and Daniel Miko. Central Court will be semifinal A. That's the one we will be following. But those who want to peek at B will have Yevem streaming. So the link will be somewhere around the Discord. I am joined by our silent director, Emea, who obviously will not speak. But I'm just opening up some things here and including the stream actually. Here we go. Lobby is almost ready. And I also, or as Giordano would say, I also need Twitch. There we go. So, tonight, starting situation in Group A, which is the one we'll be following, is, as I will now say, Basso and AS Gaming go with the 30 entry points from the previous round for the group win. Francesco and El Colombiano go with 15 each, and Frabo and EDK 5. So, whether you believe it or not, this is our current GC even before the race starts, which has been fun, to be honest. It was in the Champions League. It made races quite interesting to watch, added some drama, but at the end of the day, so it's been a fun experience to see the entry points. Let's see if they can keep being a good thing to have. I'm confident they will. As the race launches, you're waiting to see first race of the night. Okay, so just finish my setup, and there we go. Oh, this is weird. Okay, there we go. So, our first choice of the night, and I'm having some connection issues here, which is weird. Okay, there we go. Is a hilly parkour, 243.4 kilometers. Let me go quickly check the classics parkours for the semifinals. There we go. So we start with Bretagne Classic, which is this one, 243.4 in terms of kilometers. Then we have Vazon-la-Romaine Mont Ventoux, Classic 2021, Mountain Stage, and a very good one at that. And then Antwerpen Oudenaar, or also known as RVV 2018. So this is should be an interesting cobbles race because there's actually some very good upper sectors in the cobbles, and this should be actually quite fun to watch the attacks and the energy management. Okay, thank you, Emir, for that wonderful, wonderful note. It's always good to know. So, as we follow our first meters of this race, and we already have someone with a gap. I don't think it was an actual attack, just El Colombiano doing El Colombiano things. But I wouldn't be shocked if he was the first to strike. We have right here after this small downhill, one of the first uphill worthy of that name, or the first of the day, and there we go, El Colombiano striking as expected. I don't know who he's going. He's going with his mountain leader, Egan Bernal and Molano, which is I have no idea who he is, but I assume Puncher.
Several riders are attempting to break away.
If you could actually stay in Molano so I could see him. Thank you. Oh, Frabo and AS Gaming also going. And let's see if EDK and Basso want to join that party. The guy you see as Amoxos, but wants to be called Basso, has 50 different names a week. EDK going with the 3-rider set. Frabo already has 3 as well. I believe someone is with 2, and I'm trying to see who it is. AS Gaming, maybe? Or, yeah, El Colombiano. There we go.
The rider is looking to give the pack the
Oh,
slip.
and Francesco joins the party. So now everyone is on the break, and El Colombiano is the only one with 2 riders. Should be interesting to see what he's planning here. He's sending his 3rd rider now, or looked like he was. Let's see. And there goes Higuita, the 76 color rider, also known as the Puncher. Now it's actually Basso. I think he was the last one actually remaining in the peloton without a presence on the break, and he's gonna try to join the front group, where AS Gaming and I believe El Colombiano and Frabo are working, but the groups are gonna merge eventually, which should be about to happen. Francesco now pushing. He wants to join E1. There we see the front group. Curious to see who's where, who they took. Didn't see everyone. I saw, okay, the EDK, Printer, interesting choices here. 78 Mountain Leader. There's quite the diversity here.
Falling behind. A team leader is falling behind.
So far, it was a quick passing by our motorcycle on the race, but I only saw 1 leader so far. I might be wrong. And as I speak, EDK now has 5 men on the break. So that's actually a very interesting move, including his leader now there. I see it. And they have a 145 gap. So EDK is putting a lot of chips in this break right now. And it'll be funny to see what he plans to do at such a long distance. And if anyone will be willing to work with him, because I think everyone else has more than one rider. Yeah, the peloton exactly three here, three. EDK1, Frabo only has two, I believe. El Colombiano three, yeah. So Frabo, oh no, Frabo has three. Yeah, exactly. Everyone has three. So there goes Frabo, expected. Seeing the move from EDK, he actually sends the rest of his team, and Basso follows him immediately. Both are trying to get the gap going, but El Colombiano, AS Gaming, EDK desperately trying to hold on, and EDK left his sprinter behind. So that's an interesting choice. Grassi caught up behind in all of these attacks. That's not the best position to be, but he has actually a little bit of terrain to close it there if he moves fast. And meanwhile, he's about to join. There we go. Let's see how things going in the front. I'm going to assume EDK is probably working alone. Seems like it. I don't know what El Colombiano's doing, but I will also wouldn't be shocked if he was relaying with three. But so far, EDK is the one uh, working, so I don't see any passing from El Colombiano, nor should he have any reason to do so, actually, for obvious reasons, as EDK has 5 men in there. And while I take some. Okay, EDK and El Colombiano have the puncher in the front, so that's actually a very interesting info. And let's keep in mind that EDK keeping his or trying to keep, and so far being successful as the race has started, and it's still very early very early stages, and he still has his sprinter in the peloton. And let's see if he might have made a mistake in leaving him without any kind of help. Although I highly doubt he plans to get the win with him. That 5 man attack was a bit interesting. It was a bit risky. It was a bit early, and let's see if it pays dividends. Because EDK is a very offensive player, and if he gets the good chance, he might actually make this work. Yeah, I agree with that. Oh, so right now Frabo is the only guy with the 78 sprinter in the back. So that's not the best position for him. This is a race for the 70. I think it's a 78. The secondary is a 78, if I recall correctly. Emea will correct me if I'm wrong. And as Emea was saying, and very well, this is definitely a race where where the 78 has a pretty good chance of being the leader. So it is in Frabo's interest to try and get his in the front as soon as possible. Still curious, however, to see EDK and his lonely sprinter. What's going to happen there? Right now, 1 minute and 23 seconds. Nothing is set. There's only a reasonable gap. But let's see if A1 can get to an understanding. Right now, it's Basso passing in the front. Let's see if he gets some cooperation worthy of that name. AS Gaming seems to be interested on it. Passes as well. Let's see, Grassi might as well. Frabo is the main interested here in try and bridge, and he attacks, and that's an expected move. He wants to get there as soon as possible, and putting his man like this in the front, in the attack, makes everyone have to follow him, have to spend some energy as well, as he desperately tries to put his 78 sprinter in the front. Still a minute. Frabo is Um, Definitely going at a high pace. See how he does here. There is a left turn and a slight false flat. And we go for another inclination on the road. There's 47 seconds, and the race is actually falling a little bit apart right now, as there seem to be, I didn't see, but there seem to be some attacks in the back, but they are back together. Um, just confirm my info. Yeah, but he's trying to put his remaining two riders, so he's putting the sprinter as well. Like you said, he is the only one that doesn't have
Several
his,
riders
correct?
are literally disintegrating due to the rhythm imposed.
Okay, so seems to be an interesting issue with Discord. Oh, okay. Clarifications. Bravo moved the 81 Hill Rider to the front, so he did leave. Yeah, there are. I see that two of his riders are back. Okay, so he moved his puncher to the front. That's interesting. He's still the only guy without a secondary sprinter in the front. This might come back to bite him if this break happens to actually make it work somehow. Let's see. As I was saying, there's quite an interesting bug with my Discord at least going on right now, because every time I try to pop the actual chat, the actual stream, it just I can't see it. So there's that. And as you can see on your screen, Emma, our director, and the biggest of all dogs, me talking. Pretty cool feature, right? I guess it saves Emma sometimes some time in doing graphics, and pretty fun to see actually. As we are back to, uh, I don't know what happened. There was an issue with our stream. We're back. Okay. So 2 minutes and 45. Emma, while we wait for some more action to come, um, do you think this break has a legit chance, or is it too soon to start counting their chances in the front? Let's see what Emma says. Emma believes the break will make it into the finish, and if this is the case, let's keep in mind Frabo does not have let's call it a true sprinter, given that we're talking about the secondary one. So he's in a disadvantage there. So obviously we expect him to, if that is the case, and it might be the case that it comes to the end, that Frabo will have to try something before the final meters. He will have to go for an attack, and it's Frabo, so we know he can definitely do it. He has the tools for it, and he is a very offensive player. Meanwhile, AS Gaming attacks in the back, followed by El Colombiano, and he takes his remaining three men. They don't want to lose that train. They all wanna catch him really quickly while he wants to get to the front, but it's not gonna happen like that. And EDK Sprint desperately trying to
The
hang on
riders are
with
going
Frabo
through a
there.
very tough
They are
portion with
going to make
percentages
it back,
above 10%.
and it's still 3 minutes despite this movement. So the gap didn't really fall at all, and the desperate move from AS Gaming didn't come to fruition as the breakaway goes to 8.5 steepness hill right now, and the gap continues stable, 3 minutes. Basel saying, guys who have three at the back, stop working at the front. Okie dokie. So, we already see by Basso's words, also known as El Colombiano going again. It's just his usual playing style is just attack out of nowhere for no reason, so we never really know what he's doing. The only thing we know right now is obviously that he wants to catch that front group and he wants to create the gap here. And right now he has 27 seconds. Grassi will probably try to pace him instead of outright attacking, but uh, I don't know if that's going to cut it. That's 28 seconds, that's 30 seconds. I have no idea. But that's what I'm saying, man. I have no idea why he's attacking it. It's El Colombiano. We never know what he's doing or why he's doing it. We just know he likes to attack, regardless of logic or sense. So I'm also trying to understand why he's dragging A1 or was A1 with him, because now with this massive move from him, he's pretty much closing. One third, pretty much, of the distance for the front group has already fallen. So this is what El Colombiano achieved when he had puncher and second sprinter in the front. So El Colombiano, what on God's good name are you doing? And when people call you an idiot, why do you like to attack them and say, "Oh, you guys are the pro players"? I mean, I don't need to be a pro player to know that you're not benefiting yourself here, man. And I have nothing against you. Just trying to explain you. So 140 for El Colombiano, 43 seconds for the others. As Grassi ended up not attacking himself, and he first tried to pace it back, and El Colombiano obviously kept going like a madman. The gap is persisting right now, and it's almost up to a minute. Meanwhile, this leaves the Colombian in a little bit of no man's land, as he ate. Oh, and there goes Basso. I thought he was gonna make a move. He's not. It is very weird right now because uh, they should be doing it in individual relays, and it's a bit messy. The organization in the back. Let's see what EDK. I'm still curious to see if EDK might be actually up to something here. I like that move, but El Colombiano is actually very close to closing the actual gap to the break. That goes back to 3 minutes, while everyone else is left as they were, 3 minutes behind. And El Colombiano already
That's half
has
the
less
race
than one
done.
minute
There should
and
be a lot
is
more
about
movement
to
from now on
join
in.
uh, in a few minutes, maybe in that next uphill section. As we wait to see in the front, we have EDK still putting the pace. Now that El Colombiano is finally about to reach that group in the front, and if he manages to do so quickly, which he will need to put work as well. He can't just let it be done by EDK because he will have actually more men than the Portuguese. So both of them will be interested in making this work because one has full team and the other has 5 out of 6. And the sixth he doesn't have is the pure sprinter, which is uh, an outlandish possibility for the race unless it was a really calm one, which is not being the case. Meanwhile, we have movement in the back, as Alcomian already joined. Who's A1? Frabo. Frabo attacked, and I don't, I don't know what's going on here in the back. There's quite the indecision here, and Frabo, uh, unsatisfied with what was happening behind, and being a guy that needed to put his sprinter in the front, decided to go. So now it's Basso putting the pace. There doesn't seem to be a true understanding in this group behind. It's been weird every time we pass by it. They seem to either be working with 3 men or not at all, and Basso seems to be carrying some of the load. Because, as he said, he asked people that have tree at the back, not to work at the front. So his idea is to get to the front, but he's not approaching the race in a good way so far to do it. And for those who don't know Basso, as skilled as he is, and as the guy that has potential as he is also a wheel sucker that tries to get all 6 riders until the finish line. So naturally, when people attack and he has to carry the load, that probably might not end up well for him. Just saying. And now like Gun Bernal putting actually a very interesting pace in this uphill section here. It was at 9.6 at one point. And now we see the profile. Thank you, man. Yeah, there's still some very interesting sections to come. Some good hills to see. And now AS Gaming is left behind as Basto continues to desperately try and reach the front. EDK desperately holding on to that 82 sprinter as if his life depended on it. He doesn't have to work. He just left him there. He's trying to get him in the wheels of the others for as long as he can. The big question here is, can he do it? So, 22 riders, 135 for someone behind that I believe is Bravo, right? Yeah, A1. It is. So Frabo with the 80 with 78 sprinter and his helper. He's close. He's getting closer. Let's see if he will need to send someone back to help or if those two will make it by themselves. Meanwhile, another hilly section. And AS Gaming is the one charging in the front as he lost contact behind, so these 3 men are currently his best bet for trying something here. Now everyone getting their trains at max man possible, with the exception of EDK that puts 1 man in the front working, and now Domenico Pozzovivo desperately trying to carry Fravo's secondary sprinter. There goes Pozzovivo. Good attack from Frabo. He might close it here. He wants to close it in this downhill. He needs to pace a little bit more. That's 35 seconds, and Frabo's going to join right now. Perfect move from the Italian, letting his riders go to the back to help the others enter. That's a classic PCM movement right there. When you have the man in the front and want to let the others join, that's always the best way to do it, because it's going to save you energy, it's going to make them enter quickly, and it's going to make them enter in their wheel. Right now, don't exactly know what Grassy's doing in the front. I want to see if he wants to. Yeah, it looked like it, and he's going for it. He's putting a hard pace. Bel Colmiano comes with a 6-man train. If he still has 6, it looks like 1. At least 5. Yeah, 5-man train. And El Colombiano, unsurprisingly, always going like a madman no matter of which group he is. Round and round we go, and A12 continues to be around A2, sorry, around, well, technically A1 if we don't count the lost rider or forward. And there we go, A1, still about around 3 minutes, so 20 seconds is what they gain, not much more, and I doubt they will gain that much more. It's looking good for the break, and now it's CDK putting some pace in the race. And he has the man for it. He has 5-man. Trying to see if El Colombiano still has 6, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, he does. It's very surprising for me because I expected EDK and El Colombiano, with all the manpower they have in front, to put a guy each relaying, to not let gap open for the guys working, and perhaps to have an easier life before making any actual move. EDK is putting the man to work. El Colombiano is not. Every time El Colombiano moves, he just wants to attack or pace like a madman, not actually work. So this is a very, very weird race from El Colombiano, which is his usual. Okay, 23 men in the front. As you can see, Frabo arrived. I think he has 4 guys. Obviously not working. He wants to restore his energy after that move. But I do expect later on to see some moves from him. Meanwhile, A1 disintegrating once again. Riders dropped, helpers dropped. They're down to 10 men only, and desperately still trying to close what seems almost impossible by now. And it's now Basso still desperately trying to close that gap. Let's see if someone works with him. EDK still holding on to that sprinter, but he's not going to make it by himself,
This
obviously. He
climb
probably
features
is
some
not going to
dreadful
even
percentages.
make it, period. But he keeps trying to put him in their wheels to see where he can take him. Oh, he has the puncher behind? Was not aware of that. That explains a lot. Okay, so Francesco Grassi has, as Amaya was telling me, some new info. Grassi has his puncher behind, and he's the only guy doing so. Wait, so who does Basso have behind him? Can you check? And why is he working so much? Okay, Basso also has his puncher, by the way. Yeah, there we go. That explains it. So those are the only 2 guys that did not have the remaining relevant rider. That would be the puncher, because 78 sprinters are all now in the front. But Basso's problem, and for him it seems to be a big one, is that he did not put his puncher in the actual brake. So, oh, and there's actually gaps in the front group. There we go. It's obviously El Colombiano and EDK with only 3 guys now, leaving 2 in the back. Smart move by the Portuguese, actually. And Il Grandissimo Fabio, as I said, I expected something to happen. He makes it happen now. He moves his puncher into E1. The gap is very short right now, but it's also not looking good for Grassi, for example. That dream of getting there is not looking good, but the situation in the front is actually might be of the interest of those behind, because with this push and pull and zero cooperation, let's see where this takes us. 27 seconds, 23. Second group is about to join. We have Grassi, AS Gaming, EDK's remaining 2 men, and Basso's 3 riders that were in the front. Round and round we go. 23, they are still surviving as 23 once
This
again,
climb is
and
feared by
Basso, I
many
believe it
riders.
is
The
him,
percentages are
with
very high.
his puncher 1 minute behind. This is not good news for the Eastern European, because yes, he might make it, but he needs to manage it well to not make it with his rider completely blown up. If we could have a quick look at A1 AML, please. See how he's doing. He's attacking, okay. Well, he was really going for it. Let's see if he can do it. And now AS Gaming is in the front, and Francesco Grassi continues to be left behind with his own puncher. And okay, he already sent someone back to help. That's probably that might end up being a risky move if he doesn't make the front group. But with this helper, he does have the obligation to do so. And here we go. He's gonna close it, and he's gonna close it right about now. There you go. So still a little bit of gap. He's gonna join again, and ooh, Tupalik suffering actually there, and he's actually going to abandon him because like I said, he needed to make sure he didn't blow up. He did end up blowing his own puncher, so it's a very messy situation right now. Meanwhile, in the front, I believe El Colombiano is the guy working. Not sure. 38 kilometers to go, by the way. Here comes Basso with AS Gaming. Tupalik is completely dead. Grassi trying to conduct TLAC to the front, but that's mission impossible right now because we have Frabo and EDK cooperating in the front right now, and finally the cooperation that the front group needed and that the guys in the back did not want to see happening, but it's happening, and two guys is enough to end the dreams of Grassi. And even a guy like Basso that wanted to push his puncher there and actually kill him. So let's see what the guys in the front are willing to do because they have 78 sprinters. Most of them has punchers. And which weapon will they use and when? 32 to go. Downhill. Everything's calm now. I believe that's Tupalik 2.5 minutes behind, so that race is more than over, as I said. A little bit of calm before the next uphill section. That starts right now, less than 30k to go. No, it isn't starting yet. Yeah, there we go. False flat for a little bit more, and then we're going to start another uphill section, and we have less than 30 kilometers to go. The win is obviously going to be fought here in this front group. Very curious to see what unfolds. We have a quick look at the ending profile. So yeah, there's an interesting uphill section in there, and you need to get very well positioned in there because afterwards there's a downhill, and if you don't get positioned there for the sprint, it's going to be terrible. Obviously, it's also going to depend on how many make it there, if someone attacks seriously or not. Let's see. So, obviously, no one else is going to join this group. At least 23 and probably even less will make it to the end. A little bit of narrow turn and a narrow road in general, but there's enough room for people to try and put their trains well positioned. 20 kilometers to go. With a mess, El Colombiano trying to take the front. A little bit of gravel there. El Colombiano now with a really hard pace in the attack with a gun bear now. I think he probably has the puncher behind him. I don't know who else he might have. He's down to 3 men. He had 6. He has Milano. And he has the puncher, I think it was. EDK still with his 5 men. He has the opportunity to actually build a decent sprint train here and some more. Because he can actually use two options. I would do that. Let's see what he does. 40.7 to go. 21 men. 2 more helpers dead. EDK now controlling the left side. Frabo comes on the right. It's Grassi on the middle. El Colombiano desperately trying to get position, but as the uphill starts, it's Grassi that takes the lead. It's Frabo on the right side, and it's becoming very hard. Another helper falls, and they're constantly fighting for that front of the race. And trust me, I've been in races like this. It's annoying and it's hard, and you need to constantly be watching what you're doing. Positioning is key from now on. Downhill. This will be the final downhill before the final steep section of the race. One final hill that that will take us to a false downhill, false flat, so to speak, sprint. There's downhill in it, and you need positioning coming from that last quad. And as we speak, we're gonna get to it. I see Potsovivo trying to lead his man. EDK goes in the left. The sprint is gonna be launched soon. Oh, it's El Colombiano taking the front. EDK on the left side has a good position. Now Fravo appears next to him. Gracie is on the right. El Colombiano and Paso in the middle. AS Gaming is not well positioned. He's left behind, and it's Paso in the front. He's taking a good position. EDK starts going for it. He's accelerating. He's accelerating. And now he's gonna launch. He's gonna launch. So it's Fravo. Fravo has a 3-man. He launches now, and they're all sprinting. It's EDK on the left. It's Fravo on the center. Who's gonna be? Who's gonna be? It's gonna be EDK. It's gonna be EDK. It's gonna be
Another
EDK, and it
victory for his
is.
record of achievements. He was able to
Winner,
handle the
winner,
pressure
chicken
put
dinner,
on him
ladies and
by his
gentlemen.
fellow
Fantastic
escapees.
work from the Portuguese right there. Uh, very, very calm under pressure. Had a plan since the beginning. What a fantastic sprint from the Portuguese. It's worth noting that, like I said, he made his plan at the start of the race. He placed all his chips in the break. He advanced with his 5 men. He knew his 82 sprinter wouldn't make it, but very intelligently, sorry, always placing him in the wheels in case the race would slow down and somehow by miracle they would make it. Uh, that was actually very well played. He kept his cool on the final kilometers. He he was always next to the left side. He was able to maintain that position through the uphill and the beginning of the downhill, which was very important, and he went for the win. El Colombiano actually manages second place. Frabo is third. AS Gaming is fourth. Paso is fifth, and I believe Grassi comes eighth. I believe this is the first rider counts rule, so Grassi will be sixth. So, situation after round one. EDK, the Portuguese leads 105 points. El Colombiano second, 85 points. AS Gaming third, 65 points. Basso fourth, 55. Fravo fifth, 55. Francesco Rossi sixth, 33. There's still 2 races to go. Everything is still out on the open, but that was an amazing. I want to see the replay here. You see that narrow road there? That really, really narrow road. The downhill comes from there, and they sprinted. The way EDK kept his position was really good. Uh, Frabo had the 3-man lead out, and somehow he still managed to get past by El Colombiano. I would definitely need to rewatch the whole sprint to see what went wrong for the Italian, but it was a very hard fought sprint by everyone. EDK executed it with a perfect timing. El Colombiano somehow managed to get I don't know I wouldn't say the best of positions, but at the end of the day, he managed to find a good space in the end and a good timing, uh, making Frappo a bit unfortunate because he was definitely doing a good launching, and it seems like it was going to be between him and EDK, but he ended up third. Francesco Grassi ended up sixth, eighth in the stage, but sixth with the first man counts rule. I didn't see what happened to him. He was behind, a little bit behind on the sprint. It was a messy race, but it was also a fun race, full of events, of attacks. Uh, these are classics. It's what we expect. So right now the Portuguese is leading with only a 20-point advantage. It's not much. Let's keep in mind that the winner of a stage, or in this case of a classic, gets 100 points and second 70. So right now, El Colombiano, for example, if he wants to take the lead, all he needs to do is win the next race. So everything is in the open. As we wait for the second lobby to come. Oh, speaking of which, Amaya, I'm just going to restart my Discord real quick to see if I can resolve my issues. Be back in 1 minute. Yeah, definitely pop out function of Discord definitely not working for some bizarre reason. I'm guessing it's a bug of some sort, so not something I can fix. Blame Discord. Blame it on the boogie if you want. Let me just quickly look at the situation. There we go. News from the other group. Trivalato winning the first stage. Second was Daniel Miko. Third, Pierre Campione fourth. Yerem was fifth, and Bosti was sixth. This means that in terms of classification, and with the 30 entry points, Trivalato makes an amazing start, leading with 130. Daniel Miko second, 75. Pierre third, 65. Campione fourth, 48. Yerem Freedom fifth, 40 points. Ghosty sixth, 40 points. So um, situation is still open for a lot of people, yes, but quite different from Group A, as Trivalato getting a very, very important 55 points lead. It's not impossible, obviously, but he's making a good entry and he's putting himself in a good position where he just needs to manage things and try and not get a very bad outcome in the final sprints, in the final meters of the races. Now, actually, it's the mountain race, if I recall correctly. Yes, it is. It's the Mont Ventoux race. So this one is gonna be uh, for the ones that like to manage energy, that know how to approach climb. It's gonna be very interesting to see what can be done here by some guys. Let's keep in mind that after the first climb, uh, that I would need to see the profile, but that downhill I don't know if it's technical or not. It does have a few bumps here and there that do not seem very propitious to full rest. And then there's some irregular terrain there before the final climb, uh, with a bit of false flat downhillish approach to it. So uh, it's quite the irregular terrain on these 156.8 kilometers, and it should actually be quite fun to see. Especially in a lobby that has very attacking players, this could actually develop to be a really dramatic race. If I had to put money here and now, I would say I would expect good things to happen from the likes of Grassi, Frabo,
Hello to one and
even
all.
EDK.
Today is
Not
a
to
day
say
for
that
the
the others
climbers.
can't
The
make it as
team leaders
well.
should have their work cut out,
Obviously
and
they
they're
can,
going to have to count
but
on the support of
these
their
three guys are
teammates.
guys we've
Alone,
seen
it
do
looks
so well in
difficult
the
unless
mountains
an
several
ideal
times.
opportunity offers itself.
So we do have some expectations for them, but everyone is in play. The group situation is very open in this semifinal. Let's see what happens. Meanwhile, we just do a quick look and see.
Watch out! A team leader is falling behind!
Okay, there we go. I'm trying to find. Just give me a second while I try to find a quick link. And there we go, found it. Okay, there we go. So, back at the race that has already started, I'm seeing the profile now that I'm showing, so you can definitely see the steepness there. Can you show me that downhill after that second climb, Emil? Oh yeah, that's definitely some irregular terrain there. Not gonna be easy peasy lemon squeezy. But there are some good
goes
downhill
onto the
sections
attack.
in there as well. And Francesco Rossi is the first to strike, 71 mountain rider, also known as a time trialist. I didn't see who the others were. And right now he's the only one going. 78 mountain rider and
That's
okay.
really a punchy attack!
So he mainly takes the 78 mountain rider, and I think it was the 71 helper, also known as a time trialist. I was also expecting the puncher, to be honest, but it's still early days, so I want to see how this comes to develop. Just do a quick search here. Okay, found what I wanted. A quick look at Group B while I have my eyes on Group A as well, and we are good to go. So, right now, Group B already has a 21-man established break. Everything going normal there. Keep our attention on A then, where there's an 18-man one and a small downhill coming now. Trying to see everyone who's on the break as best as possible. I see 69 Mountain guy. Um, I assume everyone probably has their 78 Mountain in there. It would make no sense if they did not. El Colombiano going with Tree, Grassy Tree. I think everyone, yeah, it's an 18 rider train. So, yeah, everyone with 3 riders. Um, Not shocking in any way, to be honest. Uh, it also might mean that,
Falling
hold on,
behind! A team leader is falling behind!
I'm getting some info from our director. Yeah, it's confirming everyone has a 78 coming in front. That would be expected. There is the Hills rider from EDK. I assume that would be the former 74 mountain guy, right, Amir? Because I see some values were changed from what I remember. So yeah. Yeah, okay. So these were the guys. These were the guys I expected to see in the break. So after all, the punchers are in there. Just haven't seen them yet. So we have puncher 78 for quite a few people. That's a good combo. Col de la Gabelle begins. It's 8 kilometers at 5.7% average. It doesn't even it doesn't even rise to 1 kilometer of altitude. Only 897 meters. It's not really steep. It's just a starting point, and the break is calmly going through it. There's not that big of a pace so far, but as I speak, I was in the front, so you never know. Okay, Grassi, Amoxos, Basso, whatever you want to call them, and Frabo has the puncher in peloton, and all the other 3 have them in front. So this is the situation of the race, and this is an important one because these riders will come into play later on, as we all know. So 3 minutes and 25 is the gap here, and things seem stable right now. And as I speak, someone leaves the gap open, but EDK is going to close it. There we go. 3 minutes and 42. Col de la Gabelle is obviously sustaining the gap for the break as expected. Peloton going at a very smooth pace. This isn't the time to move yet. Curious to see after this climb if there will be some specific cooperation in this group or not. Right now, the 2 Italians in the front. Right about to get to the downhill portion. The climb is over. They're on the false flat, or actually the flat. Yeah, that's actually the flat part of it. Still a bit false because there's a little
The riders will take
irregular
full
terrain
advantage of the
in
incline to
there,
get
but
some
there we go.
oxygen into
Downhill
their lungs,
begins.
but they must
There's
remember to keep their shape.
everyone pacing by themselves, no one putting the work, but everything's good because the peloton is going really smooth right now. It's Grassi in the front with Nibali and Basso on the left, Frabo on the left as well. And there's not really much going on there. The gap is going to 4 minutes. And Rossi putting in some work, it seems. AS Gaming, Fravo. No, AS Gaming is not. Right now, the two Italians seem to be whirling. Let's see if they do, but look like you're gonna start cooperating here. I don't know. I never know what El Colombiano is doing, to be honest, so there's that as well. Peloton is going at a very smooth pace. But someone got dropped in there. Someone got dropped. Oh, it was Basso. I don't know what happened there. Basso got dropped in there, and he has to close the gap. Luckily for him, there are worse places to have that happen. And Frabo, Francesco, and I want to believe El Colombiano is helping them. His work. Oh, El Colombiano attacks in the back, unsurprisingly, and EDK follows as well. Frabo goes too. Everyone wants to catch him. No one wants to leave the gap open. And right now, the race is blowing up, and it's blowing up quickly. And these three guys, sorry, are already getting a gap. And now Grassi is the one trying to actually close it as soon as possible, as they're going to reach A1. So they're going to reach El Colombiano. And now it's Grassi and AS Gaming putting their own pace. And surprisingly, or not shocked at all, Basso sticks to the wheels. So right now, it's not a big gap, 35 seconds, and there's a lot of climbing to come. So there's nothing to panic about yet, but very strong offensive from El Colombiano. That, as we know, rarely ends well, especially if he tries to push too hard on the upcoming climb. If he wants to be successful, he needs to manage his energy, not just attack for the sake of it. Let's see if he can do that. Meanwhile, the 36 seconds remain between El Colombiano, Frabo, uh, and EDK that left the second group, the group behind. They still are getting that gap. Now it's CS Gaming trying to pace it a little bit. Grassi is upping that pace, and Basso is on the wheel. Let's see if he puts his guy to work. That would be surprising. He does not. Oh, and Grassi just moves. Grassi is not gonna take shit. Grassi moves, and Basso immediately trying to follow. Oh, and Grassi trying to play two races at the same time, gets gapped here in the front as well. Very, very open race right now. It's becoming messy. Now it's AS Gaming and Grassi trying to put their breakaway riders back in the front. And AS Gaming is actually in a good position to close that for Grassi. And it's going to happen. Okay, who's A3? Who got left behind? Completely left behind. Yeah, I completely forgot about Boss, of course. Okay, so Grassi's finally gonna close in on the second group, the one that had El Colombiano. AS Gaming also with that pace a little bit a couple of minutes ago helped them a lot in closing that. They were both pacing hard. Basso finally reaches the two men, and they're all about to get back together. Meanwhile, with all this movement, gap for the break has obviously fallen down by half from 4 to 2 minutes. And Nibali, Basso, and everyone is back together in A1. As we started, we are again. The only difference is that from 4 minutes we went to 2, just like that. and there was a lot of movement going. So let's see who saved their energy better.
We're now at the halfway
Yeah,
stage. It's a good time to take some food.
but they ended up getting in anyway. So everything's a bit more calm again. 224 gap is stabilizing and growing just a little bit. Strabo putting some pace here in this group. And correctly doing it while keeping his other man in the back, pacing with one guy. El Colombiano is probably reeling behind him or something because he does not leave that wheel. He doesn't work, but he doesn't leave that wheel. It's just impressive and not in a good way. Wow. I mean, help me out here, Emir. Surely he must be using relay, right? Oh, okay, Bernal. Uh, Bernal attacks again. And El Colombiano, I think, obviously lost a man on that attack. And EDK moves now. And I was going to say, let's see who goes with him, but everyone's going to catch him. El Colombiano is already with 2 men only, so he already lost a helper just with that movement. It is not looking good for the Colombian. He's going all out for it. And unless everyone falls asleep, it isn't looking good for him. Yes, he's going to reach the front, but how much energy is he going to waste if he gets there? Or to get there? Bet you all done for the day for Francesco Grassi. There's a little over a minute right now between, I believe between El Colombiano in the front. So his leader is getting closer. And now it's Il Grandissimo Frabo moving and moving with his 3 riders and getting the gap. It's 25 seconds. And Grassi and EDK are down to 2. As expected, soon the guys in the front, the helpers in the front, are going to come to play. Not yet, but soon. And now bridging the gap. I mean, let me try and say something. That's usually how you do it. You put your guys in the front, you attack. Just everything about the way El Colombiano did it does not look right. Just all I'm gonna say. The concept is that, the execution is definitely not. So, 16 men here, and again Bernal is now arriving with his helper to make it 18. El Colombiano now has his leader and 4 other helpers in the front. I think one of them is dying. I was too quick to be sure. Frabo chasing desperately. And here's someone that knows how to strike. It doesn't mean it always works, but he always tries in big style. But
The
good
peloton doesn't seem interested in winning today's stage.
manager in that regard. So it'll be interesting to see what Frabo can do here. There was a quick glitch, but I'm seeing the race again. It's Grassi and EDK pulling, and they're gapping El Colombiano that actually has his leader. It is very messy right now. Oh, and Frabo has joined the party. A lot of people are. See, we still have, I think, Walter, Nibali, and Almeida, exactly. And AS Gaming probably with his leader, or is he here? It's very confusing. No, this is the 78. So I'm guessing AS Gaming also has his leader behind. Right now we have Frabo and El Colombiano with the leaders here, if I'm correct. So 11 guys, the pace is hard. Here comes AS Gaming was coming. There we go. It's Barde right there. That was a really good move from the Portuguese. Completely leaving
This
El
climb is feared
Colombiano
by
in the
many
mud right
riders. The
there.
percentages are very
Immediately
high.
down to 3 riders. And Frabo keeps his 3, starts pushing now, move on 2. They're going at it for the first time. Frabo keeps pushing. Small gap to the ones in the back, although I don't know if there's any leaders in E2. The race has completely fallen apart.
This is the last third of the race. The
And
team
now it's
leaders have their
Paso
minds
Vivo doing
fixed
the
on today's goal.
downhill, leading. Like to see who else is here. Ticket 78 from EDK, and here comes the other 78s, and here comes here are the remaining leaders, I believe. Yeah, there's Nebuli. Yes, gaming with 3. That was a mighty attack from Frabo, by the way. He's definitely getting an important gap here. And it's now Basso finally putting up speed, 99ing him, desperately trying to close that gap. They need to get to an understanding. If they do not cooperate properly here, the guys in the front might have a good advantage to work with. A lot is going to depend on how they do this downhill, and it's Basso taking charge and realizing that he doesn't need to give them an excessive gap. They need to be working to not let them go away. Because right now they have about 2 minutes or more. I mean, it's starting to grow. So here it's up to Frabo and El Colombiano to work because they have the leaders. El Colombiano going for the bottled water movement. But let's see if he goes back to working afterwards. Okay, that's answered. Frabo keeping the pace. Yeah, it's around 2 minutes, a little over 2 minutes. There's a lot of climb to go, so definitely far from being decided. And Pasto did a good job there in that downhill. And now it's the 78 guys still, and the leaders are now starting to move, I believe. We are still around 9 kilometers from the final climb of the day. We're going to be climbing the other side of Mont Ventoux and climbing Mont Ventoux for the second time today. Grassi seems to be asking for cooperation from Amoxos and ASG. Frabo continues to put as much pace as he can. I like to stay here for a bit and see if El Colombiano actually puts some work in. Because every time we pass, if I'm not wrong, it's Tiberi, Tiberi, Tiberi. And there we go. Back of the race. See where the leaders are. Still further behind. And I don't see S Gaming doing much here as well. Really confusing situation right now. And it's it's Frabo getting the actual gap. Frabo does not want to carry El Colombiano with him if he's not going to work. And Mont Ventoux begins. 21.3 kilometers, 7.5% average at 19, 1900 meters. In this case, 1905, which was what I was going to say. Almost 2K of altitude. And I have mail. Give me a second. Yeah, I completely agree. Yeah, the way the situation was handled was just. I don't think they'll see him. I think Fravo uh, knew how and when to strike, and that the apathy behind the one that usually happens, and where people don't cooperate, they don't realize they have to. No one wants to be the first, and when finally someone does, it's too late, and then no one wants to join. And yeah, Fravo is in a good position here, but let's see. There's still a lot of climbing to do. Yeah, yeah, I have no idea. There was, yeah, there's a lot going on.
The riders are in a portion above
Activity. Yes, I
10%.
can completely
15
agree. There
kilometers
was
to the
so
finish
much
line.
stuff going on, but a lot of it wasn't constructive for them. So the race so far, I have no idea why. And the mayor was making a good point, and I completely agree with him. So many times we looked at the 78s. I have no idea why they didn't stop them. I have no idea why they didn't cooperate. I have no idea why they didn't do so many things. And now Frabo has a great advantage right now. And the only one in a position to fight with him is Al Colombiano. So, and here we go. It's Basso definitely thinking it's now or never time. Gracia still has four guys. I don't think EDK dropped his yet. Uh, and now El Colombiano strikes with his three. Frabo worked a lot down to one helper only, and El Colombiano with this move might soon join that club. 12.5 to go. T-Berry dead. Lots of work made by T-Berry. Definitely helping Frabo get that gap. But now it's Basso with the four-man train, really desperate, trying to close it. 11 kilometers to go. Frabo only has a small 40 seconds gap to the three guys from El Colombiano. And here comes Basso full force, pacing as hard as he can. And now Almeida wants to join on that party, and he drops his helper. That's how you do it, guys. There we go. It's the puncher first, naturally, and now he's
10
dropping
kilometers to the finish line.
he's putting the 79 at his own pace to join as well. And meanwhile, and then there were two for El Colombiano as well. And I don't know what AS Gaming is doing with the guys in the front. I have no fucking idea. Uh, I see dead people, including a 78, right, Emma? I just see dead. Yeah, I see dead people everywhere, and those not that are alone. It's fucking messy. And here is Hodwig's waiting for his leader
The riders are
at
going
a
through a very
very
tough portion with percentages above
controlled pace. That's
10%.
how you do it, boys. That's how you do it. No, no, not EDK's. I thought for a moment that AS Gaming's was, but I wasn't sure because it was the image passed quickly. EDK's is doing very well. It's going at a very controlled pace to join his leader. That's how you do things. And here we go. Frabo, El Colombiano fighting right now. 21-second gap. 6.7 kilometers to go. This isn't going to go away from them, is it? Because 6 kilometers might be an eternity, but the gap is comfortable. And now it's 24 seconds for Frabo. Frabo moving. Paso Vivo nearly ending his day. The same for Miguel Angel Lopez. And now 20-second gap. It's going to be close here. And now it's
5
Nibali.
kilometers to the
Nibali
finish
wants to
line.
increase the pace, but they are so far behind. They have little time to do it. Frabo is alone. Bernal as well. It's a 1v1, and Frabo has the advantage. 18 seconds, 24 seconds, 25 seconds. It's growing. And behind, it's too little too late. Frabo is going to take this one. It seems unlikely that he's going to be caught. He is keeping a good pace, 3.4 to go. El Colombiano is not managing to close it quickly enough. Frabo seems to have this one in the bag. There goes Bernal desperately trying to catch him, but he's not going to make it. It doesn't seem he has anything left to do that. 32 seconds. 2.4. Frabo is about to start the approach to the final sprint, and this is just the gap that he needs. He doesn't need more as long as he manages it well. And there we go. Front Emma, we're about to reach the confirm that Frabo doesn't die here, but I expect him to win this easily.
It's
And there
in
we
such
go.
percentages that
Damiano
the
Caruso,
strongest can
1.2 to
create
go,
some
followed by
gaps.
Bernal, but it's too little, too late from the Colombian. He did not manage well. I said this was going to happen to him. He did not manage well. He's not going to make it in time. And Frabo is going to win stage 2. What a magnificent attack. And he won
This
because he
win
played
is
it properly.
well
Some
deserved. He
others did not.
displayed a
That's what I'm going to say.
tremendous
So
tenacity.
El Colombiano getting a precious second right there, and now it is incredible. Barry, the 78 rider, gets the third place for AS Gaming, Almeida the fourth for EDK, Grassi fifth, and Basso again in one of the back positions. This time he's sixth. What a fucking mess, ladies and gentlemen. When the 78 guy does third, I'm. I mean, yeah, he did, and he did it. AS Gaming, let's put this in perspective, ladies and gentlemen. AS Gaming tried to do third with the 78 Mountain, and he did it. So, uh, I repeat, this is not a good thing. I mean, good for him that managed to do it, but a lot of activity, not too many brains from some people tonight, and too much hesitation from some, I would say. I'm still trying to find out why Basso was so worried about closing in the downhill, nothing more. Completely messy to then finish sixth. It was very weird. Um, let's keep in mind that El Colombiano gets the second place because he also attacked. The way he went extremely and excessively hard, he probably would not have made a good position in a bunch sprint with the other leaders. Here we see Frabo winning. Uh, that's a very deserved victory. That was a very well executed attack. Uh, I think there was one or two players in the back that knew what they had to do, but it wasn't just up to them. There needed to be some more cooperation, and Frabo took advantage of what many times happens in PCM. Let this guy work, let that guy work, let the leader work, and then no one works. So this is why I say fuck the leader policy. Okay, so uh, let's see if we have classifications. We do. Thank you, Emma. Right now, it's a two-way dance. El Colombiano and Frabo are tied, 155 points. But EDK is very, very close, 140 points. He's 15 points behind. So, whew, uh, right now, the situation to be in the final is good for these three. Again, El Colombiano and Frabo 155 points, EDK second with 140. AS Gaming is not that far from the Portuguese. He has 115. Basso 73 in fifth place, and Francesco Grassi in a very bad day for him so far. Things haven't gone well for him. He's in sixth place, 58 points. So right now, Grassi is basically out. He needs to win the final race. He needs EDK to be last, and he needs El Colombiano and Frabo by that order, but not by that order, each of them, because they're both on same points. He needs them to be second and third. So he needs the two leaders to be second and third. That's El Colombiano and Frabo. He needs ZDK to be last, and he needs to win. That's extremely unlikely to happen. Okay, Grassi will not be playing the third stage, I'm being told. So that resolves the issue. That was quick. Okay. I was saying that Grassi had all the odds against him because he needed EDK to be last, he needed the win, and he needed the current two leaders to be second and third. That's not going to happen now, as Grassi will not be playing stage 3. But right now, we have a very titanic fight for the group win. El Colombiano and Frabo on 155 points. EDK is second, 140. And AS Gaming isn't eliminated yet. He can still make the final. He's just 25 points away from EDK, 40 points away from the two leaders, which, depending on the race circumstances, can actually be closed. So, uh, for Basso, though, the situation is harder. he has almost 70 points to recover to EDK. He would need EDK to be last, and he would need to get the win. Pretty much that. Preferably with the same situation of El Colombiano and Frabo being second and third as well, I think. So it's not that far better than Grassi was. He desperately needs the win to get to 173 points, and then he needs ZTK and AS Gaming behind him. So it's not going to be easy for the Slovakian. Definitely not going to be easy at all. There is no impossible, though. Right now we have quite the interesting fight for the group win between the unlikely El Colombiano that keeps getting second place as God knows how, and Frabo with third place in the win. Frabo has been doing some good playing today. Very unfortunate, the first sprint for him in the first two races where he got third. I think he probably deserved second, but that's PCM. EDK actually won round one. That was a very, very mighty, impressive sprint. That was a well-deserved win, a well-played race. All chips on the brake, knew what he wanted, went for it, got it. Nothing to say. Then he was fourth in the stage, which puts him only 15 points behind the leaders. Okay, we're launching for the final stage. There's mainly 4 people here fighting for 3 spots, but Basso mathematically can still make it. As Emea is saying, as I had already said that Grassi wouldn't be here, Emea is now confirming that Grassi rage quitted and will not play last. All right. Thank you everyone that is watching. It has been a jam-packed action group, not always played with brains, but always full of action. Mateo, Davi, El Colombiano, everyone that's watching, thank you guys. Let's keep in mind this will also be recorded for posterity, and we'll be probably laughing about some of these race situations in the future, and remembering some as what might be the beginning of a win for someone in the final, because 3 guys from this group will be there. That is guaranteed. Maybe one of them wins. We'll see.
Hello to one and all.
Pero qué ves que diga
It's a difficult race with several cobbled
Hola,
sections.
el
The bikes will be
colombiano.
severely tested.
Was that good enough for you? Okay, give me a second to check my notes and close this. As the stage is starting. Oh, you wanted Spanish, he says. Funny boy. Okay, race is starting. Let's see how this goes. This is going to be a completely different one than the one we had, because this is the cobbles portion of the classics of the evening. Alright, sorry. Too many windows to run right now. Okay, I got one stream here, I got the other stream here. El Colombiano, you still around? I know you're playing, but tell us, by the way, you think you can actually win your group? I would like to know. Want me to ask that in Spanish? I can also do that. Okay, so nothing important of note yet. $30 men strolling around on a Monday evening. in this case in the game a Monday afternoon, a rainy one at that. EDK saying, I was shit between 16 or 17, and this year, because I'm playing Civil Champions Edition of Bidon. No, I remember EDK being always being a good player. I don't remember him being like the best player in the world, that's for sure. But I can agree with him that he's definitely been more focused this year, and he's been playing more, which is very important to actually keep your skills going, developing or maintaining them, or both in his case, because already a good player, but can always have more improvement. And if EDK keeps playing regularly as he has, and with the World Championships approaching, I'm very, very hyped to see him race. I think he can do some fun things. I'm not gonna put pressure on him to win anything. In theory, there's obviously more people that carry far more favoritism. ¿Crees que puedes ganar tu grupo, el colombiano? And I'm not going to put that pressure on him, but I think definitely EDK can at least put some impressive and fun races in the World Championship, because he's been entertaining us with some great cycling this year, some good attacks, some good tactics, some good skills. Yeah, no, it's not pressure. Yeah, yeah. Um, I mean, let's not compare oranges with apples, though. Of course, training matters. Of course, training is important. Of course, playing and getting used to ladder is very, very effective and useful. But we also need to keep in mind that there's going to be a lot of great riders at the World Championships if some of the usual ones comes. Wait, what? I'm not gonna say that in obviously. I don't know why, man. I mean, there's worse people to be world champion. I mean, and we're not talking about anyone in the race. No, right now we're just talking via DM. Sorry, guys. But there's actually worse people to be world champion. I don't know why you say that. I mean, imagine if it was. Oof, I got a few names. I would say. Yes, or this guy. That would be terrible, man. I would be the one killing myself if that happens, and it might actually happen. Yeah, I mean, whatever you call these things. I mean, he's been worse, yeah. That much I'll give you. But I think whatever he can do, the guy you were talking earlier can do the same or better. So they're a pretty similar level at that. Okay, so El Colombiano did not want to tell me if he thought he could win his group or not. And I even asked politely in Spanish, but he doesn't want to give predictions. Let's just focus on the race. And in the race, there is a very, very big calm before the storm. Now, as I was saying about the tournament, these latter tournaments have given us some good indications. What I was trying to say to Emma, and we got interrupted and sidetracked with discussing other stuff via DM, is that the Champions League isn't the best indication because it has a limited amount of slots per country, making it also a different range of participants. Obviously, it's great training and great to win, and you need to be good to win and all of that crap, but completely different of the World Championship. For example, I think ITA Cup is definitely a better playground to train for the World Championships because every single good guy that was not on the Champions League. If they wanted, they could be here, for a example. So I
There's
love
a rider
the
trying to
the
break
ITA
away from the
tournaments for
bunch.
this. It's a place where everyone can come and actually practice the ladder and have fun with it. And even though this group hasn't been the most sophisticated tactic-wise, it has been tremendously fun to watch.
Look out, he's breaking away.
Okay, finally we have people trying to establish breaks. Took a while. Let's see if it sticks. I see a few 76s, I think. Meanwhile, we're watching E2. 73s. Stand up front with the tree guys. Sorry, I missed that. The front. It's Idranisimo Bravo taking his 76 color guy. Excuse me. So, right. Let me see this. So, it looks like we finally have something to talk about. The break did manage to survive. Bravo was about to be caught by everyone. El Colombiano, unsurprisingly, in the front of the race as well, and trying to close the gap with AS Gaming. And there we go, 14 guys in the front. So there's movement behind. What's going on right there now behind A1? All right, I'm getting. Okay, so there's people attacking behind as well. CDK, AS Gaming, Bravo. And here is El Colombiano with 4 guys, but everyone's back together, so the break continues to live for another day, and the guys in the back survive and calm down for a little while. They're still a little bit far away from the first cover section, and we're wanting to see if we're gonna have some different tactics in this race. I mean, I can definitely expect some good stuff from the likes of EDK and Fravo. Sadly, Grassi isn't here. I can definitely expect El Colombiano to be uh, over offensive as always, but hey, it's been working for him this evening. So he's doing his thing. He's doing it. It's working. Let's see how he does. AS Gaming has been a major wild card in this race. He wasn't always a protagonist, and somehow he managed still third place with a 78 mountain rider in the Mont Ventoux. That's always an indication of how crazy that race went. And then Basto is the one in the worst position right now because he needs a lot of factors to to actually qualify, and they're not easy to happen, especially now that Grassi's exited the race and is not there to steal points for him. Okay, confirmation that everyone
He's
has
going
their
to take them
76
on by
color
himself.
rider in the front. And now El Colombiano naturally attacks, followed by AS Gaming, followed by EDK, and everyone's trying to close that before it becomes something. Let's see. It seems they're all about to get together again, but oh man, they are really pushing that. But Basso is going to close them. And Basso closes them. That was another showing of offensive style from El Colombiano, and he doesn't leave the front. And first cobble sector starting. It's a 1.6 kilometer 2-star section. Well, 2 and a tiny little bit, but it's 2. There we go. Front group just passed. Val Colombiano trying to get that gap going again, and he attacks again, and he does it in the cobble. What a pro player. Anyway, back to the race. We get the gap that is actually interesting one. It's AS Gaming that's going to try and close it. It's EDK that got one man stuck behind, I think. I didn't see if that was intended or not to just take 2. Meanwhile, front of the race is just breezing, and El Colombiano is actually sustaining that gap. And now it's Basso again, desperately trying to close it. Frabo should not let that gap open, doing his best to close it. He's keeping it closed. It's 21 seconds only to EDK, and EDK is behind El Colombiano, and he only has 2 riders. The race is already imploding, and we're not even halfway through it. And naturally, El Colombiano, being one of the first one to strike with his leader, just completely imploded the race from the back. So right now, EDK desperately trying to take his leader back to El Colombiano and AS Gaming, who I believe also has his leader there, or yes, he does. Tells you he is there. So 3 leaders here in this group, and now Passo attacks actually, and I don't know what happened to Fabo in the back. There he goes, closing it. There's an EDK rider behind, a helper. Meanwhile, front of the race continues to do their work, as we are going to reach the Haute Quaremont in 9.3 kilometers. Right now, gap being closed by the chasing group, in which Basso already arrived and Fravo is about to join, and we were again as we were when the break started. Everyone back together in both groups. So El Colombiano's effort managed to reduce the break's gap, but that's pretty much just about it. Let's see what Haute Quaremont will bring us. I have no idea how to pronounce that, by the way, so soon. I'll still keep saying it though, obviously.
He broke from the back like
So
a
as it
greyhound.
wait, there's an attack. It's EDK. Where? Oh, there we go. EDK again, going for it right before Haute Quaremont. It's actually going to start in 2 kilometers, so that's an interesting move from the Portuguese. And El Colombiano was the one again trying to get take advantage of that move to put one of his own, I think. There we go, the section is going to begin right about now, and there we go. 4 and a quarter stars maybe, okay, let's call it like that. It's 1.8 kilometers, it's a hard one, it's a steep one. Let's see what happens here in the front group. And there we go behind, everyone's still together. Ooh, puncture for Gaviria, that's a sprinter though. Not a big deal. EDK, however, takes advantage of the cobble section to get a gap, and now all hell is breaking loose as the usual distances become to rise. A few gaps here and there. The groups stretch, they break, there's gaps, there's mess. Let's see how it goes from here. Right now, it's less than 2 minutes between the break and the chasing group, in which Frabo, El Colombiano, and EDK are still present. Oh, and they escaped. Okay, here, Bosso and EDK trying to close. And I don't know who's probably the helpers in everyone. I think everyone's here or in the second group. Punctured Gaviria back on the job. I can bear in 7 kilometers. And group's about to merge, but let's see if they can do it before the actual icon burst starts. That would be interesting to see, and it seems that El Colombiano is pacing with that in mind. Doesn't he, okay, probably. I was going to make some logical questions, but why bother?
We're already at the
This
halfway
group hasn't
stage.
been logical at all this evening, so why would it start now? So everyone's about to merge, except those lost in combat or helpers. And everyone's back together as the Akinbu will start in 1 kilometer. Everyone preparing their trains, positioning is key, we all know the drill, and it's AS Gaming taking the front, and Al Colombiano quickly starts with the pace, because he's doing Al
This climb is
Colombiano
feared
things,
by many
and
riders.
if we
The
have a
percentages
Daniel
are
Nico
very
song, we
high.
need a song for this man. And there goes Oliveira, got the opportunity to move along with that group. And I think it's I was gonna say AS Gaming, but Boston looked like it was gonna try and do something to at least close it. Okay, he's putting the pace now. AS Gaming as well. Motorbike of Doom. EDK's helper is getting back, obviously, and El Colombiano in Holovet. I wonder if that's well pronounced. Is now striking again the Colombian uber offensive in these semifinals. Yeah, we have to find something more, I don't know, PG. We'll see. The funny thing about this is that, uh, regardless of strategies and of some crazy attacks we've seen from some guys this night, it's been working for some, so sometimes PCM is just crazy. Something I'm not even going to try to pronounce this time, and it's a 3-star section, 26 riders. El Colombiano, for the first time, not in front of a cobble section. Oh my, what a shock. But he's going to try and put himself in front on the hilly one. AS Gaming conducting his 5-man train with some ease there. And then we have the actual 3-man trains and so on. There's a little bit of up and down going now. 4? Who crashed? Sorry. Oh, AS Gaming. Yeah, I just saw. Okay. Just make sure he's good to go. Okay, yes, Kevin, we are waiting. So I wonder who's going to go to the final. Right now, as I said, El Colombiano, EDK in a good position. No, sorry, El Colombiano and Fabo in a good position, tied on the same points, 155, and EDK 15 points behind them. And he has 140, and then with 115 is AS Gaming. So AS Gaming definitely needs to make something happen in this race. He also needs one of the others to fail miserably. Not necessarily miserably, but that would be even better. Again, an El Colombiano attack. This time EDK follows with 3 guys. And Fabo putting some pace in it. Is he gonna join? It seems like he just wants to close. Couple move is about to start in 9 kilometers, and this is what I expected to see. Frabo immediately attacking to actually end up closing for everyone. Fun days. El Colombiano moving his 200-man train to the left, to the center, sorry. And those wondering when I make these jokes about any participant, these are jokes. I've done far worse things, so don't really take them personally. There we go. AS Gaming is now taking the front for the Capelmur. 4 kilometers. El Colombiano fighting him for the positioning and getting the front. Out on the right and out of nowhere, like Randy Orton's RKO, comes Basso with his leader Stibar, and EDK is now coming from the left. There's a huge fight for position here, as expected, and the Capelmur is about to start right about now. 1.1 kilometers of 4 stars, a little bit over 4 stars. So that's going to be this 4-star section might be a good chance for someone to try something. And naturally, that someone would be El Colombiano. Surprised he didn't actually press the Q button, but he got the gap anyway, so. But AS Gaming is going to try and close that as soon as possible. There's a little bit to come before the major cobble sections that will decide the race. So let's see what happens here. It's looking like the gap that opened on the Capelmur is going to be quickly closed, and AS Gaming is working hard for that.
This is the last third of the race. The team leaders have their minds fixed on today's goal.
Wait, is there a leader in there? No. I think that's Halpert dropped. Yeah, it is. And 76 ones at that. Wow, this race is once again becoming interesting. That section opened quite the gap for some guys there, and they desperately need to close them before the steep hills come. EDK and Fabo are about to arrive, and as we were, everyone is back together. Round and round we go, gaps and gaps we get, and we always get to the same place until eventually all hell will break loose. Now, people took probably a few seconds to at least breathe a little bit. Let's see if someone, I see Boss already moving there in the front for the uphill, for that small uphill there. Let's see if if he'll just be happy and keeping the front and not doing, oh, Pops of Evil, what are you doing? There you go. Again, a very belligerent positioning for some players. El Colombiano again placing himself in the front, always very keen on being there in key sections. was trying and looking for that. Credit to him for that. And EDK strikes now. That's a 3-man attack with 76 helper. And let's see if someone joins or if they're just gonna close them by trying to join, as so many irritating times people actually do. Right now there's space going, but one joining, and as the uphill begins, he's going to try and keep that gap. Let's see if he can do it. He's pacing hard. Ballerini is desperately trying to close that, along with someone from El Colombiano that I don't know who it is. It doesn't even matter. It's Lopez. And they managed to just open a gap for the rest of the riders. So they have to wait. And while this happens, of course, the race implodes once again, because those tiny gaps that open can and might eventually become dangerous at one point. So let's see. Haute Quaremont Part 2 is about to come, the sequel, in 8.8 kilometers. And now positioning is more important than ever before, especially for those that have to come from the back. You need to make sure their energy is good, and EDK is just going as fast as he can, trying to make it to that cobble section with that gap. Let's see if he is allowed. Now it's El Colombiano setting the pace. Yes, Kenny has a man in the front as well, I believe. But it's El Colombiano desperately trying to close that. Not as desperately as I expected, but the gap is starting to shrink, but steadily. Everyone now doing their own thing, less than 60 kilometers to go. We have 2 5-man trains. There's some mess in the peloton. And but Cormon is going to start in 1 kilometer. Let's go to it. And EDK is going to take 2 men. He lost a helper naturally, and he's going to start the section now. And he starts it with 25 seconds advance. And now he's going to send his leader. Let's see who follows. Fravo immediately latching onto EDK's guys. Very good move from the Portuguese there, trying to keep his men in the front to survive this part, to help him, and he actually gets another gap. This is another opportunity to people see why positioning is crucial in races as this one. If you're not in a good place, then the pace ramps up in a section like this. Now we have the pad over, 3 starts, the blocks will come, the gaps will come, the race will explode. Ooh, Oliveira punches. Isn't Oliveira the leader? I think we have a leader puncturing. Oh, that's a terrible moment. Yeah, there's still plenty of time. Yeah, they were all together. Nothing was going on. I believe, according to the rules, this is a waiting situation. Indeed, there was nothing going on. They were all together, and those were punctures. Wow, it's one of the things we hate on this game. We can't even turn punctures off, and we have to see things like this. Why aren't they being waited on? Who is working? El Colombiano, naturally. Probably trying to get himself disqualified in the Koppenberg.
Attacked by Turgis.
And there's attack, and no one waited on. Oh, this is just messy. I'm lost on words. This is why I do not like the playing style of El Colombiano, because it includes shit like this, pacing when other people puncture. This is what I hate from a few players, and this guy is one of them. It's nothing personal, it's just terrible playing style without fair play. especially when he was told to wait and he did not. So this is not going to end well for the Colombian, I assume. But meanwhile, we have a race to go. The Payenberg is now coming. We have cobbles. We have drama. What else is going to happen? It would be extremely funny if EDK and I don't remember who else got behind still managed to beat the Colombians.
Attack by Benoit Cosnefroy.
Os is from Basel, so Basel is behind. No, Os is from, no, not Basel, from Frauleibing, but he's behind and they were all together, so that it just became a completely different race. But the race must continue, and now it's EDK putting some pace in the front. Basel finally attacks. And we have some calm here as the 12 men are together. That's the marquee with us? Yes, it is. So 3 men for Basel, 3 for EDK. Managed it brilliantly despite the puncture. Not everyone can say the same. There's a couple of players here that are doing some really interesting things, and then there's others that are not. Sometimes there's no justice in, well, there's never justice in any kind of competition. Kreuzberg is going 2 stars, 900 meters, but there's only 29 kilometers to go. Gapster might be crucial. There's a lot of pace from El Colombiano. AS Gaming side by side with him, and now EDK and Fabo on their wheels trying to close that gap. And the enormous amount of pace that Basel had to put there to close that just shows how he was in a terrible place. And EDK goes. I thought he was gonna go. Yeah, he did. It's just decisive moment of the race. There's one final cobble section, big final cobble section, then there's that small uphill in there, and EDK again trying to get something going. Now it's only 11 left. I think K is the only one with 3 riders. He is indeed. Great management by the Portuguese. Oh no, AS Gaming has 2, yeah. Everyone else has 2. So advantage on extra rider for EDK. See if he uses it. Oh, block there for his helper. Incroyable. And now we have okay. 0 rider, all normal. And now we have, I think, image is a bit blurry. It's El Colombiano again. Frabo is alone. EDK goes with his 2 riders. AS Gaming desperately trying to stick with them, and it's Basel in a big predicament. And now it's Frabo and EDK together. They get the gap. Are they gonna work? Are they gonna get something to do? Some distance here to do something? Let's see. 17 seconds, 16 kilometers. There's the Paderberg for one last time before a slight downhill that will take us to the flat. 23 seconds. Now they're cooperating, it seems. And here comes the Paderberg. 600 meters only. That's what everyone has to close that gap as soon as possible. It doesn't happen. It's only Turgi from AS Gaming that seems to get closer. He attacks. The race is exploding. Oh, and Basel left behind with a leader as well. Not looking good for the Eastern European. He definitely needs to win right now if he still wants to dream with the final. He attacked. No, it's Turgi attacking as well. Everyone is desperately trying to reach the front of the train. It's us in the front with Case Oliveira. It's messy, it's stretched, and there's 3 groups fighting for it. 23 seconds, 8 kilometers to go. Oh, Cosnefroy is dead. Cosnefroy is going to die. AS Gaming needs him a little bit more. He needs to try and close that. Meanwhile, they're about to get caught. And they stop as well, waiting for their helpers.
The finish line is getting close. The riders just passed
And
the
they go
5
again.
kilometers road sign.
Such a weird race. .5 to go, 18 seconds. Let's see if they can take this to the end. They have their helpers there just in case they need to actually go for it with a second choice. This is gonna be close. 2.2 to go. It's Basso doing his train. He's gonna launch. I don't think yeah, there goes EDK from the left side. Basso's mind seem to be taking the zone, but it's us, and it's Basso, and Basso's gonna take it. Basso's gonna take it. He wins that win, and he wins it. And EDK is second, and Bravo is third, and Basso might just have managed a place in the final here. Wow. Yeah. That was actually, at some point it was clear that guys like EDK and Frabo were definitely going to work for them because the attack wasn't going anywhere and they were desperately holding on to them because they had the power to go. But Basso, though, with this very, very well launched sprint,
the riders are in a portion
needed the win, actually gets it, patient, cold, well executed, couldn't have done it any better. This is what he needed. EDK with the second place confirms he will be in the final. Frabo confirms he will be in the final. And now a little bit of math to see if Turgi can still save this for AS Gaming because there was a gap. Check quick math here before the official classification. It was a 42-point gap. Okay, it was not enough and it was dramatic. 7 points. Wow. So, EDK, ladies and gentlemen, winner of semifinal A, 210 points. Frabo second place, 205. That's a 5-point gap right there. Behind El Colombiano with 180 points, and the dramatic 7 points behind is Basso. So close yet so far. AS Gaming, that fourth place wasn't obviously enough to even place him in contention because he only stayed with 150 points, so 30 points behind El Colombiano. Francesco Grassi rage quitted as he may have placed it in round 3. His result, rage quitted, is the 6th place of the group with 58 points. So again, EDK 210, Frabo 25, 205, El Colombiano 180, Basso 173, AS Gaming 150, Francisco Rossi 58, and the Rage Quit. This is the end of this semifinal. What a dramatic ending. Basso was so close, but 7 points now seem like a lifetime of math to do for him. It's just 7 points. It's part of PCM, it's part of any competition. It seems like a huge gap. When you're analyzing it, I could have done this better, I could have done that better. Then when you're analyzing it again, it seems like a very small one. I've been there, I've done that. It's frustrating. It is what it is. We all have to deal with it. It's dramatic. El Colombiano that actually finishes fifth and last on the stage did enough on the first two to pass, and so he passes. Basso did a fifth and a sixth, so this win was just not enough. Congratulations to EDK, very well deserved winner. Frabo could have won it as well. They both played well. EDK, I think, was the man of the match once again. Congratulations to both, and as well to El Colombiano. They are in the final of Classics of Road Cup. Quick look to Group B as soon as Enea gives me the results. Just see 7 men on the same time. So we have Tupalik, Carreiro, DeMarchi, Turgi, Gita, Oliveira, Oss. And then guys like Steve are an actual leader behind. Interesting results for sure. Okay, we have Group B confirmed. After a win in round 1 and a third place in round 2, Trivelato smashes his group completely. With a win in round 3, he has 280 points, almost a 100-point advantage to the Italian Campione Regionale, that is second, 198. Daniel fucking Miko is third with 170 points. Pierre is fourth with 153. Yerem fifth, 100, and Ghosty in the mud as usual in road with 93 points. I love you, Ghosty. Don't be salty about it. Okay, who joins me? Bravo.
Oh,
Bravo, that was a messy group. That was a messy race. There were a lot of brains not working there. Tell me, how does it feel to be on such a fantastic fight with EDK, lose it by 5 points, but still, you are in the final. Congratulations for that.
I think that maybe I hoped that El Colombiano could win the group, and he almost did it. But
Until
we are talking
double
about El
stage
Colombiano.
arrived, and you actually need skill there, right? So
By
please,
the way, he will be my teammate in the World Championship, so I have to love him.
I zero fucks given about that. It's just that his playing style is very offensive, blah blah blah, all good and well, but in the end, when he needs to manage that energy, it comes back to bite him. So
You
I'm saying.
remember his team attacks in PCM Dumardi?
I remember so many bad things about him as pacing while leaders punctured. Today, I think, was one of those occasions. I'm pretty sure I may have told people to wait, and he attacked, paced, and if it was my tournament, I would disqualify his ass to infinity. But that's another story. Bravo. You think it's a fair win for EDK? Do you think you could have done more, or are you just happy to be in the final?
I'm only happy to be in the final, to be honest. I don't want more.
You will be against EDK himself, El Colombiano. Wait. Okay. Emma is saying that he would like to say that Orgo will not intervene unless someone appeals. If someone does want to appeal the El Colombiano situation, it will be reviewed, obviously. Sorry, Fabo, you were saying?
But El Colombiano could have waited after Panto.
Sorry,
But,
what?
I mean,
Oh,
only me and ADK should have to appeal because
yes.
we were dropped.
No,
But we
Basso.
lost. So I want
Basso was.
appeal, and I also think he wants appeal.
I think Basso was dropped too, if I recall correctly.
Basso was dropped. It was with the 76.
Okay. Okay, Frabo, before you go, I was going to say you have EDK, you have El Colombiano, from the other group, Trivelato, Campione, and Daniel fucking Miko. So, do you like your odds for this final, or is it going to be really hard?
I think on the piece of paper, I am the favorite, but you know my feeling in finals. I will choke as usual.
Yes, it's you and me, brother. It's you and me. Except yours are still traumatizing me because some of them were at the World Championships. That sucks. I wish you the best of luck, Fravo. It was very entertaining to watch your race. Thank you for being here. I stuck with the man of the match, in my opinion, not only because he wins, but because he definitely placed the best show there, had the best brains at many points, and gave us the best racing in some of the stages. I think definitely him and Frabo deserve to be in the final. EDK, hello.
Hi, I'm sorry if my microphone isn't great, but
No,
it's what it is.
I can understand you well. That was a hectic group. messy, sometimes no brains, like I said during the stream, sometimes just crazy attacks. How did you manage to survive in all that mess?
So in the first stage, it was pretty easy because I was the only one that got away as soon as possible, even though it was
Yes.
only 5. But then I had to basically manage the whole group without anyone pacing alongside me. So I had to basically switch up with 2 or 3 riders to make sure that no one got dropped. And then the second one was actually pretty tough because I tried to attack after El Colombiano, but everyone followed, and then Frabu went, and I didn't want to pace because I had attacked, so it was pretty hard. But
Do you
I mean,
think there should have been
one
more
match needed
cooperation there?
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
You think that after Frabo went and he managed to get that gap and you guys were left behind, should you guys have cooperated more? Should the other guys have helped more?
I mean, we could, but at the same time, we all had the 78 up front, and I think that most of the guys, if they didn't get dropped on the top of the Ventoux, because only me and Us Gaming went with the 81 climbers. I think that if all of us did manage to be there, it was all right because we weren't going to close the gap anyway.
Speaking of that, AS Gaming doing third on Move 2 with his helper. What does that tell you about the race? What do you think about it?
I mean, he had more faith than I did because I was with him and I dropped my riders. But that's probably because of the 81-78 gap. In the Champions League, that wouldn't have happened.
All right. Do you feel confident for this final? I mean, there's a lot of good names in here. I mean, well-known guys like Campione and Frabo, newcomers like Trivelato. Miko is already a known guy as well. We also have El Colombiano. I know you want to win. Everyone wants to win. What do you think you could do in this final?
I didn't understand. It was Trivelato, Simone, and Miko.
From the other group, it's Trivelato, Simone, and Miko. Yes.
Okay, I don't really enjoy playing with Miko because I like to attack. I like to attack, and I will have to just suck a little bit more of wheels. But the way I see it, I don't think that I'm worse than anybody in the final, so I can't be. I will be a bit nervous playing it, but I don't fear anyone.
Okay, quick question from me. You're Portuguese and you're nice. Why are other Portuguese not nice?
I would say that me and Jose are pretty nice.
That's probably the only two. That's probably the only two I can remember out of the quick thinking.
No, I mean it depends a little bit. Guy and Dinley rage a lot. Sometimes George does, but the other ones are okay.
All right.
In that regard, at least.
EDK, that's that first race, which I was talking about here in the stream. Like I said, pretty much how I summed it. You had a plan, you went for it, the 5-man attack, completely throwing it out there right from the start, and then that very well timed sprint. You were talking about that. You said everything went according to the plan. In the mountains, it didn't, and then in the cobbles, can you tell us? Can you talk us through the ending of that race?
Well, I think that if me and Frabo didn't have that flat tire, we were going to make it because that sapped a lot of my energy. And there was also a climb where everyone got blocked, and I had to attack to make sure that I didn't get capped. That also took a little bit of energy, but I mean, I just followed one of the guys. I think it was a Moxus Wet. And then I knew that if I sprinted with 1.5, 1.6, the bar was going to be enough. So I wanted to be the first one going, but that also is about timing. So. it's okay. Second.
All right, and with this, you win your group. You get the coveted 30 entry points, like Triva gets on his, where he actually demolished his group with almost 100 points lead. Do you feel that these entry points might be precious in a final that might be close as this one?
I mean, in the final, what's the most likely thing to happen is that the points are well split. So 15 points, 50-point gap is pretty good. I mean, I don't think that the guys that finished third um, have lower chances. I mean, a little bit, 2 or 3%, but apart from that, no. But it doesn't hurt at all.
All right. Congratulations, EDK. We talked about you a few times on the stream that you've been definitely elevating your game, that you've been competing more this year, using your own words, focusing more. Are you taking this as some serious practice for the World Championship? Is that a future goal, a serious one?
Yeah, I'd say that I'm trying to peak there. In the beginning of the PCM season, I was just playing Bidon and the Nations Cup, but then as the year progressed, I realized that I needed to play with 6 more because I split the team with Jose in the Bidon, and so basically I started playing more races, and I'm trying to get as best as possible for the World Cup. To me, I mean, this is important, but if I don't win this, it's not a big
Not
deal.
the end of the world, yeah.
I will be a little bit pissed if I go to the final of the World Cup and I lose.
All right. I'm just gonna say that with me, it has been precisely the opposite. I started playing a bit more. Right now, I'm playing as less as possible. Well, there's some health issues there as well, but it's a long season. Maybe things can be improved next season. But thank you for being here, man. I wish you the best of luck. You definitely put on a great show today. I hope you do so in the final as well. And best wishes, man.
Thank you, and have a nice evening.
Thank you. So we're gonna close this. I'll just gonna before we do, I just want to take a quick look at the calendar to see. Today is the 28th. So tomorrow we have the tour the tour semifinals are actually uh, quite interesting because everyone knows tour is my favorite discipline. So this should be very interesting. Wednesday is try hard day. TTT round one. Oh, there's a TTT in the tour. Interesting. Oh, we're gonna talk about that tomorrow. Uh, the inline semifinals are in Thursday, and as April arrives, we have classics final on Monday. Tuesday has the ITT and TTT finals. Wednesday is the tour final, and Thursday the 7th is the closing of the competition with the inline final. I'll see you all there. I hope you guys all have fun with the races that are yet to come. Just let me check something here from the director. Oh yes, there is interesting. There's a TTT in the tour. There's 2 summit finishes, and then there's a very interesting stage 5 from the Tour of the Alps 2017. It's actually looks quite fun. All right, but we'll talk about that tomorrow. Thank you everyone that was here. Thank you to the players. Thank you to Emel once again for such great work. It was fun, and tomorrow ITA Cup returns with Tour semifinals. To close this now, I think we only need to give congratulations to EDK, Frabo, El Colombiano, Trivalato, Simon.